haven't played the Need for Speed series since Carbon on the original Xbox, and that was in about 2014. I've given Pro Street, Undercover and Shift a go, but they never really stuck with me, but this one's different. Here's Need for Speed Rivals for the PlayStation 4. I'd like to argue that it's a mix of Underground and Most Wanted blended together, and I feel like I've certainly got my money's worth. Need for Speed Rivals is the gluten-free entry into the series. It's slimmed down and gets straight to the point with gorgeous graphics, streamlined menus and a smaller but very fun world to race around. The big draw to this game is the fact that you can play as both a street racer and the police. Each side has their own unique vehicles and upgrades, and you play through the exact same story on both sides, so if you have no interest in being one side, you won't miss out on anything. The game is broken up into chapters, and they all have their own cutscenes to help explain what's going on. They use the in-game engine and actually do a really good job to show off how pretty the game is. From your hub menu, you can buy a huge range of tuner and hypercars and buy performance, visual and weapon upgrades. There isn't as much as there usually is to play with like in other Need for Speed games, but this game is focused much more on getting out there and racing rather than sitting in the menus, and I really like that. I think the coolest part about this game is the fact that the world you're racing in is actually online, so there are other people in the world racing on the same map as you, and you can challenge them on the fly and get involved with their police chases. There's also a huge emphasis on unlocking new cars. Each have their own little movie, and it makes driving each one that bit more special. Now onto the actual gameplay and general racing. It's awesome. The controls are exactly the same as Need for Speed Most Wanted, and the map layout was designed with drifting and high-speed pursuits in mind. I also love how you can drive straight from a highway into a snowy mountain in a seamless transition. It really shows off the graphical presentation of the game, and it's honestly very impressive. The car selection is great too, and they don't take very long to unlock if you're any good with the Need for Speed games from the PlayStation 2. You'll be racing all of the high performance cars you come to expect from a game like this, like Lamborghinis, Ferraris and McLarens. To unlock new cars and parts, you need to complete objectives around the map, and these will take you through the campaign. Sometimes you'll need to win a race, or take out other drivers, or keep a pursuit for over a long period of time. The more time you are out there, the hotter your car becomes, meaning that it's going to be easier for the police to find you. However, if you can escape the police and make it back home, you'll earn huge amounts of credits. The cars also take real-time damage, and if you thrash them about, your performance will be weakened, and you'll be more vulnerable to being run off the road. It's a nice idea and certainly becomes a bigger part of the game when the police are constantly on your tail. You can also equip weapons like the EMP, a shockwave and a jammer, and these are going to help you deal with other races and even the police units and helicopters. They are armed with them too, so it makes the later levels that much more challenging and quite interesting too. You might think that those weapons would turn Need for Speed into Twisted Metal, but they actually integrate very well and it didn't take any focus away from the actual racing. I felt that there should have been a bit more story in places, as there was quite a long time before each new cutscene, but it wasn't really a problem. In the last mission of the Racer campaign, you have to drive around for 15 minutes consecutively and win the race. It's actually a real challenge of your skill and knowledge of the map, and the whole race is very enjoyable. When you take on the police campaign, you start out with the basic police unit and some extra health and defense, as you're likely going to need it when running races off the road. In this mode, you can't upgrade your speed, but all the weapons are cheaper and there are a load of new cars to unlock and you get access to them much faster. You spend the majority of your time completing time trials, getting involved in street races and using the map to trap races. It's a lot of fun and gives you an entirely new perspective on the game. I didn't find this mode as enjoyable as the racing, but it's more than a distraction and you can have a lot of fun with it, so I'd say it's totally worth a go once you've beaten the Racers campaign. The part that makes or breaks this game is the music. Now you might be wondering why it isn't playing in the background like usual, and that's because there'll be copyright strike within an hour of the upload. However, I will leave a link to the full soundtrack in the description so you can have a listen for yourself. The music is a mixture of fast-paced techno and heavy bass tension-building backing, meaning that the racing feels very modern, but the menus help to emphasise the danger of street racing and taking on the police. Some of the songs you will hear are from Mystery Skulls, Bastille and Madion. Most of the tracks are remixed especially for this game and it works really well. When you have beaten the game, you are left on a cliffhanger and there is nothing past that point. You can continue to keep racing around, but there really isn't much point in doing so. The game does have a lot of trophies to collect, but unless you've just bought your PS4 and this is your only game, you probably won't go out of your way to earn them. Overall, I think Need for Speed Rivals is a very fun and unique entry into the series. The music is great, the graphics are amazing, the gameplay is a fantastic mixture of Underground and Most Wanted, and the car selection is spot on. Sure, the story is a bit iffy in places, and the streamlined approach won't please all the fans, but by no means it's a weak entry into the franchise and it's definitely worth your money. so if you feel hesitant about picking this one up, after watching this, I hope I changed your mind.